Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back to another episode of Soulevision, the safe channel to your soul. How are you doing? How's everyone doing today? How is all one of you guys doing today? I'm doing pretty good. This is a great week. How was your week? How was your weekend? Even though we're on Thursday, I still should ask about your weekend. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but I hope it was good. And even if it wasn't, it can still get better. There's always a chance for things to get better. Okay? So I hope this video finds you well. I hope that you had an amazing week. I just hope all good things for you. If you're listening to this, hello. Thank you for tuning into my soothing voice. Very sarcastic on that one. Don't think it's soothing, but thank you for listening. I appreciate it. If you are new here, hi. If you're returning, welcome back. I was going to say, have my AirPod in again, and that's not okay. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, follow. Depending on which streaming platform you're listening from, do those things so that you can be notified when I upload something, because, yes, we're going to try to start saying this in the beginning versus the end of each and every episode. But like I was saying, I hope all is well with you. And if not, let's try to get well. Okay? All right. We're staying positive, but we're also remembering. I feel like every time I say we stay positive, I have to say, remember that you don't ignore your negative thoughts, but you also need to cut them off with something positive. Okay? Okay. All right, so we're going to start with our affirmations. And if you are new here, our affirmations are something we start off each and every episode with. And you can say them with me. I leave a little pause so that we can say them together because, I don't know, I just feel like we're here together even though it's just me. Very lonely on this podcast, but it's okay. All right. I do not engage with people who try to penetrate my mind with unhelpful thoughts and ideas. I walk away when a person or situation isn't healthy for me. That was long. So sorry. I belong in this world. There are people that care about me and my worth. My past might be ugly, but I am still beautiful. I have made mistakes, but I will not let them define me. My soul radiates from the inside and warms the souls of others. I don't compare myself to others. The only person I compare myself to is the person I was yesterday. And as long as the person I am today is even the tiniest bit better than the person I was yesterday, I'm meeting my own definition of success. Note to self, I'm going to make you so proud. I finish what matters and let go of what does not. I feed my spirit. I train my body. I focus my mind. This is my time. My life has meaning. What I do has meaning. My actions are meaningful and inspiring. Those were good. Those were good. Snaps in the audience if you thought those were great. I really like those. Hold on, water break. From those affirmations, we will then get into our deep topic, and it's the main topic of the day. And for this week, we're going to go with, drumroll please. Do we need a drumroll every week for every topic? I'm not sure, but you don't get through anything by ignoring it. You do not get through anything via ignorance. You don't get through anything by ignoring it. It's never worked. It will never work. Okay? And you may be watching this and you can probably beg to differ. I was once in your shoes begging to differ because I thought I was okay when I was ignoring my issues, basically. I thought everything was fine. And that's something that we tell ourselves to keep going. But we all know that deep down, you're not fine. And sometimes certain messages you probably won't receive or understand, and you will beg to differ until you are in that space where you can't hold it anymore. and then you finally, like, some words resonate with you years after you heard them because you are now in a space to actually receive them and understand them, okay? But you cannot get through anything by ignoring it. You can't live a happy life by ignoring things. The things that you ignore only get bigger. They only get more trying, whether it's something in your relationship, whether it's something in your past, whether it's something that you are tolerating on any realm or any part of your life. Ignoring it will not make things better. You can't push things under the rug and expect for the things that you pushed under there to not be rotten. You ignored it. If you ignore anything, you ignore a bill, you ignore paying off your credit card, you realize that you get interest. Bad things happen depending on your interest rate. No, but the analogy that I use in a video that I've never posted was, if you have a piece of chicken, but you're not really hungry, you already ate, so you're going to put it in your pocket, okay? Putting it in your pocket is you ignoring that piece of chicken, right? When you ignore things, it's not gone. The chicken is still in your pocket, but you forgot about it. Now, in this example, let's just say that you don't bathe. Now, I know everybody bathes, but if you don't bathe after a couple days, the chicken is going to stink. The chicken is going to mess up your pants. The chicken is not going to be edible. It's going to have bugs, whatever. Or let's say you do bathe, but you take those pants off and you forget that there's chicken in there. Ooh, this is a good analogy. You take those pants off and you forget that you have that piece of chicken in there and you put it in your laundry, right? That chicken is still going to be in there. So you ignored it, but it's still going to be there physically. And then you're going to have bugs in your hamper in your house, right? And even if you ignore that, like, it's fine. The bugs would represent warning signs that, things are not okay. You ignored them and things still didn't get better. And then you put them in the wash. And now you mess up your whole washing machine. Now you mess up your whole washing machine because you have all the chicken bits, juices, and the bugs in all of your clothes and all over your washing machine. And you don't realize it until you open it because that cycle's done. How much time has gone between you putting the chicken in your pocket and you opening the washing machine to realize it was the chicken, or you're opening the washing machine to realize that your clothes are messed up? Now apply that to your life. You might be thinking that it's okay to ignore certain things in your life, certain people, how they are, certain problems in your relationship, certain problems in your marriage, certain problems in friendships. That is what happens when you ignore things. It might be the small things, but if it's something that is, really bothering you or that has bothered you, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore problems in your friendships. You can't ignore problems in your relationships. You can't ignore problems or things that have happened to you or harm that has been inflicted on you. Whatever the problem may be or issue may be, you cannot ignore it. So just like the example of you having your pants and you threw them in the laundry basket, you are doing that in your own life. You're not thinking about that chicken. You're not thinking about those pants, and you forgot about them, and you think, I'm fine because, I got all these other pants. Like, you just go on about your day. You get a new pair of pants, each day, however long it takes you to do laundry. Some people take a week, some people take 2 weeks, but then you don't realize until everything is messed up. All of your clothes are messed up, with all of the other pairs of pants that you had are messed up. Are we getting this analogy? So you may have been walking around for a long time in your life thinking that you were fine because you were able to ignore things, you were able to put differences to the side, which that is in some cases possible. But if the differences mean that you are the one that is getting the short end of the stick, that's not fair. Right? So you have been going out throughout your life thinking that this is okay. You are fine. You think that you're fine. You think that you're not affected because you're good at hiding it. When in all actuality, it's going to take for all of your clothes, all of your clothes will be messed up, which in your real life will just be you hitting a ugly spot or a rock bottom, if you will, in your life. Are we getting it? In any piece of conflict or trauma or problem, you have to address it. You have to address it. There's no way to get better from it or to be able to move past it other than going through it. You can't go around. If you try to go around, picture this being the problem and here's your solution. If you try to go around, If you try to go around, you're just going to end up going in circles, right? Because the goal or the solution is right here, but you're not going to see it. I'm sorry, I forgot that people are visual. People are listening via audio only. If you picture a circle, right? I'm going to try to make this visual. Let's close our eyes. If you picture a circle, right? That circle is your problem. Find a beginning point of your circle and then draw a line in your head to, I guess, the other side of the circle, and that would be the end of your circle, right? Your solution is going to be at the end of the circle, but not on the outside of the circle, right? So if you were having your situations in whatever issue, I can't pinpoint because this is very broad, but also like specific at the same time. If you are trying to ignore and bury your problems, you're going to just be going around that circle. In order to get past something I'm not going to say get past, but you know what I mean, get past. In order to do that, you have to go through the circle, through the problem, address it, figure out why it's affecting you, blah, 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 talk it out, communicate if it has something to do with someone else, or you do the internal work if it has something to do with you. But you have to go through the circle because the solution is at the end of the circle before you come out. You're going to always be missing the mark if you're going around the circle. You can't beat around the bush and expect for things to get better. You can't beat around the bush. It never will work. And another point is that the more you ignore things, I just have a lot of analogies today. When you ignore things, you're just making your trauma backpack, or the backpack of, I won't even say trauma, but I know for me, when I'm speaking about ignoring my trauma, but it could be for someone else. It could just be, problems in a relationship, problems with mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, friend, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, whatever it may be, friends with benefits. That problem is just always going to escalate, but the way it escalates is because you ignore so many things and you pile up your bag of, I want to say ignorance because it makes sense, but ignorance doesn't also make sense. But you pack up your bag of things that you ignored and it gets so heavy that you can't hold it. And then that's when you snap. Because you can't hold all the things that you ignored. And that's when everything comes out. So you don't get through anything by ignoring it. It goes twofold. It goes on the route of you're never going to find a solution if you don't. And then also it builds up. And then you snap. And I think in both cases you could snap. Honestly, if I'm being honest. If you are the average human being, I would assume that you want to do things. I assume that you want to live a happy life. You want to have a life that, you are the ideal person you want to be, especially if you're looking at your life and you're like, this isn't me. This is not who I want to be. And I feel like it's okay to think that. At the same time, still being very positive about, your attributes. You can also be like, this is not behavior that I want to continue to show to the world or practice. So if you want to get better, and if we're speaking on trauma, you cannot ignore the things that have happened to you. You cannot ignore the trauma. You cannot ignore the abuse. You cannot. because you're going to always try to find an escape, and there is no escaping something that you are refusing to go through. You're refusing to. It's going to stay there. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Just like a virus is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Why not address it now? Why not get to the meat of it now? And it's going to be hard. But what's harder, running around the circle for the rest of your life, or going through it? It might be a little journey. It might be a little foresty area if we're still speaking figuratively, but at least you'll be on your way to a solution. And I think that is the best way to put it. I'll prefer you to be on your way to a solution versus running around and wasting your time. Running around and allowing people to still treat you the way that they treat you. Running around and trying to find something else to curb this pain that you're feeling because you're ignoring what happened to you. I would just like better for you, because why not? You deserve solutions to your problems. Everyone deserves solutions to their problems. But don't ignore things. I don't care who the person is, the people are, what have you, what the situation is. You cannot ignore it. For your mental health sake, you can't ignore it. People that are, some people that are addicted to drugs, they are running around that circle over and over and over again, running around it, trying to find something to ease that pain. The pain is still going to be there. The pain does not leave. You have to go through, find your solution, figure out why you're wired this way, what happened to you, or not what happened to you, but you have to go within and find that solution so you won't be finding solutions to your pain. Ooh, okay. So you got to find the solution to the trauma that you're ignoring, or else you're going to be running around that circle trying to find a solution to your pain. That's good. And believe me, for years, I thought that I was one of those ones, like, yeah, I'm all right. I didn't realize I was ignoring things. I didn't realize that I was ignoring things. I didn't realize that I was taught to ignore things. It wasn't until I got older, and that was when I realized that, we are not okay. We're not as okay as we thought we were. We're not even anywhere near close to being okay. It was when I was out, and I guess maybe trauma makes you, well, not maybe, for sure trauma makes you wise, but I was out and reflecting, and it was like, oh, you were just hiding and ignoring things. And it got to a point where it just boiled up and got very intense, to the point where I couldn't even handle it. I couldn't even keep it in. You can't ignore it. Now, if you want to live your life and never get through anything in life, get through your hurt, your pain, your trauma, then so be it. But don't expect to magically be healed from it, because that's not how it works. That's never how it works. Okay? And then on the other side, for the buildup would be if there's minor things that you probably don't like about a person that you are always in close contact with. Whether I would say, like, if you are, I would say a significant other, you really like this person and you are trying your best to keep them, so you ignore things that you don't like about them, and those things that you don't like about them are really big things, but you're ignoring it because you want to be with this person for whatever various reasons you want to be with this person. The problem with that is you'll be able to hold up that nice demeanor for a while, but they're going to continue to keep pissing you off because you're not communicating what's an issue to them. So they don't think there's anything wrong. They're living their lives being regular human beings, and you are fuming on the inside because there's a lot of things that they do that you're ignoring for the sake of keeping this relationship. But it's not until they do that one last thing on that day that you're not in a good mood, and that's the last straw for you, and then you snap. Why not communicate in the beginning so that either you can dissolve the relationship right there, find someone else that meets your criteria, or they can make changes depending on what that thing is. But it's never okay to ignore. You don't ignore red flags. That's not a thing. That's not okay. You don't ignore red flags. Maybe that's what I've been trying to say this whole time, but I got to use a lot of words to get there. You never ignore red flags. They're always going to be red flags. They're never going to change over time. You're just going to be in close contact with someone with red flags. We don't want that. They gave you warning signs and you act like you were okay with it, but you were never okay with it. Very passive aggressive. You don't need that in a relationship. Please don't be that person. Okay? So what do we learn? You cannot get through anything by ignoring it. If we're speaking from the trauma side, you cannot heal from your trauma by going around that circle. You have to go through that circle because the solution is at the end of the circle before you come out. Okay? You cannot be running. If you run around the circle, you're going to be finding a solution for your pain when you should be going through the circle and find a solution to your trauma. Okay? And then on the build-up side, or I guess I wouldn't say relationship side, I'm going to say build-up side, is you just don't ignore things that are wrong with people, or ignore things that you don't like in someone that is very triggering or not good for you or your mental health. Because some people can just not be good for you. There could be nothing wrong with them, but they just aren't your cup of tea. So don't ignore the flags or the things that make someone not your cup of tea and try to make them your cup of tea, because that's not fair to you or them. They're not your cup of tea. You can't tweak the tea up to make it be your cup of tea. It's not your cup of tea. And then you be mad later that it's not your cup of tea, but you knew it wasn't your cup of tea, but you ignored the fact that it wasn't your cup of tea. How we get anywhere from that? You trying to change the tea to a tea that's not yours, or you running in circles. How? Back to the trauma side, you're going to be running into circles. You're going to be running in circles until you are exhausted and you're tired. And then eventually that is when you decide, okay, I'm going to go through. That's what it is. That is perfect to close out this segment. You're going to be running around in circles until you get exhausted. And that's when you realize that, okay, I'm just going to go through it. You have to go through all things to heal from it. You cannot go around it. You cannot ignore it. It's going to fester in your brain, in your subconscious, without you even realizing it. You have to go through it. You have to address it. You have to figure out the triggers. You got to figure out where it comes from. You got to find out its origin. And you are capable of doing that. And I believe in you. It's going to be hard. Say this every episode. It's going to be hard. But once you get through that, you realize, like, you feel better. You're a better person. You're different. You are exuding this angst about yourself, this angst for life. You just have a different outlook on every single thing. You stop blaming everybody else for, your shortcomings. You take accountability. It's just a life of greatness. I would implore you to join, because why wouldn't you? It sounds like it's too good to be true, but it's not. It's really not. You just address your problems. You address things. And that's that simple. Okay. Now we are going to let loose, because that was a lot of words. We're coming in with facts. I'm thinking about only doing one Reddit segment for each episode. We're going to see how that works. But I'm not sure if I'm going to do that right now. But for here, it's going to say, what? For here, it's what random facts should everyone know? Number 1, the broader the dark stripes are on a watermelon, the sweeter it is. Didn't know that. I just thought that you had to flick the watermelon, and I used to have troubles because my nail beds would hurt when I tried to flick them, so I wouldn't flick them hard enough to figure out if they were good. Maybe that's not the sweetness. That's to see if it's good to eat. But my dad could flick them no problem because he got fat fingers. Okay, someone also said under the same watermelon part is they said the more yellow the pale spot on it, the riper it is. Watermelons don't ripen once picked, so they won't get more yellow. Easy way to see at a glance if the watermelons are worth it and which is best. You can all do that knocking nonsense if you wish, but this is a lot faster and easier. The pale spot is where it touched the ground as it grew. So the more yellow the pale spot on it, the pale spot is where it touched the ground as it grew, the riper it is. Watermelons don't ripen once picked, so they won't get more yellow. Easy way to see at a glance if the watermelons are worth it and which is best. You can do all that knocking nonsense if you wish, but this is a lot faster and easier. I like that. So no more knocking. Just talked about it. No more knocking. All right, next. The antidepressant anafranil. I'm going to say anafranil. The antidepressant anafranil frequently causes an inability to orgasm in males, and it sometimes causes spontaneous orgasms in women. Spontaneous? No. Imagine orgasming in a doctor's office talking to the receptionist. That's not okay. Orgasm noises and faces, not okay in public, okay? Someone said these double standards are pissing me off. That's true. Double standards. Wow. Spontaneous. There was a lady on some network. She was talking about how she orgasms like 99 times a day or something. Maybe it's like over in the thousands somewhere. And I'm like, nah, that's torture. But she is really in pain because it's really torture. A lot of people might think that that's a good thing, but over and over again, I'm gonna share something that I can't share that. Anyways. Negative 40 degrees Celsius and negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit are the same temperature. Why? How? Okay. Negative 40 Celsius is negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The negative 40 rule. That's what it's called. Negative 18 Celsius is about 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 0 Celsius is about 32 degrees Fahrenheit. So the matching zeros, that's the matching zeros rule. 16 degrees Celsius is about 61 degrees Fahrenheit. 28 degrees Celsius is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the numbers flipped rule. 36.5 Celsius is about 98 Fahrenheit. That's the body temperature rule. 100 Celsius is 212. You didn't explain nothing. Okay. The fun fact is negative 40 Celsius and negative 40 Fahrenheit are the same temperature. Bet you ain't know that. Bet you I did. Exactly. If you see a Japanese comment on something or somewhere, chances are you've seen a long line of W's at the end of it. The W is short for warai, which means laugh. Yep, www is a Japanese equivalent of LOL. I'm gonna start doing that. Instead of saying LOL, now I know Japanese. I know how to say LOL in Japanese because I'm a little exotic. So, yeah, sorry for all those faces. Sorry you had to see that, actually. But yeah, so W, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 W's is LOL. I'm rocking with it. Next, chest compressions during CPR should match the beat of the song Staying Alive. I think I know that. No, you know how I learned at The Office. Staying alive, staying alive. I can't sing, so I'm not going to try. It's better if I don't try and you think it's terrible because I didn't try. But if I do try and you think it's terrible, then that's worse on me because that means I tried. But I know I can't sing. Let's see. Ha, 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 ha. Staying alive, staying alive. Ha, 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 ha. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. At first I was afraid. I was petrified. That's a different song. That's what they commented though. Anyway, every year, several sloths die because they mistake their arms for tree branches. Wow. 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 Sloths are slow and slow at the same damn time. That's crazy. How sloths made it through evolution and natural selection will always amaze me. That's true because they're so slow. That means that any predator they're an easy target for any predator. Who preys on sloths though? Because when I be seeing, you would think a lion or, one of those big cats, but I don't see them in the same environments. Yeah, I'm just going to do one Reddit. Jaguars and eagles. Jaguars and eagles. Okay, that's about right. Eagles can pick them up. Y'all ever seen an eagle pick a big animal up? It's crazy. And jaguars climb trees, so that makes sense. If you didn't know, that's another fun fact. Jaguars climb trees, which you probably did, because if I know them, you might know. But if you didn't know, you're welcome. I have my eyelash in my eye view, and it's bothering me. Okay. But that's wild. Like, your arm is here, and you look over, you think it's a branch, so you grab your arm. But you don't notice the difference between your arm and the branch. How are sloths' eyesight? What is their eyesight looking like? Oops. Sloth eyesight. Because you should be able to tell the difference. Sloths are colorblind and oh my gosh. Sloths are colorblind and only see poorly in dim light and are completely blind in bright daylight. How you climbing trees? I guess you feel for branches, and that makes sense how you feel for your arm by accident. But like, sir, Lord Jesus, can I ask you a question? Why you made them blind? Why? And they're half deaf. They're half deaf. Why are sloths here? To give eagles easy prey? That makes no sense. So they're slow, they're blind, and they're half deaf. And all they do is hang in trees and sleep. Sloths are just... So if someone calls you a sloth, that's a real insult. And those are fighting words because there's no way, no how. You can't fight someone for calling you a sloth. They're calling you blind and half deaf, and you slow, and all you do is sleep. That's not okay. It's not okay. But that's very mind-blowing for me. Very mind-blowing for me. How many sloths die a year from mistaking their arm? How many? If this don't give me the answer, I'm just going to move on. I don't know. It's not going to give me an answer. But the sloths are cute. So they're good for that, I guess. And they're cute depending on the person. I think they're cute. Okay. Fun fact with 3 fun facts in them. 1. A deactivated cell phone can call 911. I knew that because I've deactivated my phone several times in the past and called 911 at the same time. 2. Carry a fully charged spare phone. Okay, carry a fully charged spare phone. That way, if someone steals your phone, you can call and report it on the spare phone. You're very proactive. You're thinking about phones and being in emergencies with phones all the time, clearly. Let's guess what number 3 is. Something about the phone and the calling. Not to be overly paranoid. Already very paranoid. But I keep my spare phone in the trunk of my car. This way, when the baddie kidnaps me and puts me in the trunk of my own car, I can call for help if needed. You are ready, Mr. Sir Dwight. I don't know your name, but his username is Got My Orange Crush. You are ready for someone to kidnap you, and you have all the tools necessary to make sure you can call for help. Because you know they're going to put you in the trunk. You know they're going to steal your phone. You're going to have a spare phone at all times. Someone said, hey guys, don't put this guy in the trunk. Just put him in the backseat tied up. Now, what you just told him is that he's going to have a spare phone in every single piece of his car. Not assuming that they can take him in their car, because obviously I would prefer to take you in my car because I know my car better and I probably have tools and gadgets in there to keep you from hurting me. But hey, who am I? Okay, this is a longer one. Oh, maybe it's not. They have an edit, but yeah. When a woman is about to have a heart attack, she may experience pain in her jaw as opposed to her arm. I heard that once and wasn't sure if it was true, and then one day my sister said her jaw was bothering her, and 2 hours later she had a heart attack. Paramedics confirmed. Edit. I didn't mean to suggest that this is the only symptom women have when having a heart attack. What? I didn't mean to suggest that this is the only symptom women having a heart attack will experience. Nor did I mean to suggest a man will not experience jaw pain during a heart attack. Also, my sister suffered a head injury due to the heart attack and fell into a coma. It only lasted a few days. She was in hospital for a few weeks but recovered for the most part. My mom said she had a bad toothache. Didn't see the hour. Oh, to track. Wow. So if your jaw hurting, just drive yourself to 911 so you can be proactive like the last guy. We have to be proactive, guys, okay? But that's interesting. Lord, I pray my jaw don't hurt. I pray yours don't either. Okay, last one. The human eye can see more shades of green than any other color. It was a survival tactic back when our ancestors lived in the trees and plants and things. To add to this, this is why night vision goggles make everything look green. Mind blown. My mind is blown. My mind is blown. Wow. The fact that we still have those things, even though we haven't been out surviving in the woods and in the forest and the safaris for a very long time, is very amazing. Because if you know how evolution works, then I would think that we lost touch of that, but we didn't. So there you go. We see more shades of green because nature. And I like that. Maybe that's why seeing nature is so, as I was saying before the camera cut off, maybe that's why going into nature is so therapeutic and eye-opening, jaw-dropping, just amazing, because we can see the details in all the greens. And it brings us peace because we're tapping into being with our ancestors and tapping into that ability that they once had that we don't utilize that much anymore. But I'm thankful for that. Okay, so we're just going to do one Reddit topic this week because I feel like 2 is just a little too much. I have one topic, one Reddit. That makes more sense, okay? All right, so that means we're going to be wrapping this up. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Soulevision. I hope that it was everything that your soul needed. I hope you heard something that resonated with you, something that you will work on, something that is going to help you on your journey, because I feel like that's what I'm here for. I have been your host, Ashley Dukes. And I hope you enjoy your week. I hope that you have an amazing week. I hope that you do well, accomplish the things that you need to accomplish. I hope I accomplish the things that I need to accomplish. I hope dreams come true this week and every week. Let's go out there and get it. But yeah, for real, guys. Bye.